He had millions. But on Christmas Eve, everything changed, when his little girl saw a starving woman digging through a dumpster and whispered, "Daddy, why is she looking for food?" The snow was falling harder now, thick flakes that made the city sounds quieter and turned the streets into a winter postcard. Michael Taylor pulled his daughter Sophie closer as they walked home from the Christmas Eve service at their church. Sophie was 6, bundled in a bright pink coat with a matching red and white hat, her small hand held firmly in his. At 34, Michael had everything most people dreamed of. He'd sold his tech startup 3 years ago for an amount that still made his head spin. The penthouse apartment, the cars, the security that came with never having to worry about money again. But walking through the snowy streets on Christmas Eve, his daughter talking happily about Santa and presents, Michael felt the familiar ache of something missing. Sophie's mother, Rachel, had died 2 years ago from a sudden aneurysm. One moment she'd been laughing at breakfast. By dinner she was gone. Since then it had been just the two of them, Michael and Sophie against the world. "Daddy, look at all the pretty lights." Sophie tugged on his hand, pointing at the buildings decorated with Christmas displays. "Beautiful, sweetheart." Michael smiled down at her, grateful as always for this small person who'd given him a reason to keep going when Rachel died. They were passing a narrow alley between buildings when Michael heard it, the sound of someone looking through trash along with quiet, desperate breathing. He almost kept walking. It was Christmas Eve. They should get home, have hot chocolate, read Christmas stories by the tree. The last thing Sophie needed was to see something upsetting. But something made him stop, made him look. In the alley, barely visible in the dim light from a street lamp, a young woman was searching through a dumpster. She wore what had once been a nice dress, cream-colored with a delicate pattern, but it was torn and stained now. Over it she wore a gray hooded sweater that was more holes than fabric with obvious patches sewn on. Her blonde hair hung in tangles around her face, and even from a distance Michael could see she was shaking from the cold. Trash. She found something, a half-eaten sandwich maybe, and pulled it out with a sound that was almost a sob of relief. "Daddy, why is that lady looking in the trash?" Sophie's voice was small, confused. The woman's head jerked up at the sound. She looked at them with wide, frightened eyes like an animal caught in headlights. In the lamplight, Michael could see she was young, maybe late 20s. She held a notebook against her chest with one arm while using the other to dig through the... Her face was thin, hollow with hunger, but there was something refined about her features. Intelligence in those fearful eyes. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, holding the notebook tighter. "I'm sorry. I'm leaving. I wasn't. I'm just..." Her voice was raw, but educated. The accent of someone who'd once had a different life. "Wait," Michael said gently. "Please don't go." The woman froze, torn between running and staying. She looked at Sophie and something in her face crumbled. "I'm sorry your daughter has to see me like this. No child should have to see this." "I'm sorry, miss. Are you hungry?" Sophie asked, her voice filled with the simple concern of childhood. The woman's face twisted. "I'm fine. But her stomach growled loudly, giving her away, and she closed her eyes in shame. Michael made a decision. "Please let me buy you dinner. There's a diner just around the corner. It's Christmas Eve. No one should be alone and hungry on Christmas Eve." "I don't need charity," the woman said, but her voice shook. "I'm fine. I just need..." She looked at the sandwich in her hand, and Michael saw the moment her pride broke. Tears slid down her dirty cheeks. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I used to be someone. I used to matter. I don't know how I got here." "You still matter," Michael said firmly. "Everyone matters, please. Just dinner, that's all. My name is Michael, and this is my daughter, Sophie." The woman looked at Sophie again, at this small child, bundled in warm clothes, safe and loved. "My name is Anna," she whispered, "and I haven't eaten in 3 days." The diner was warm and bright, decorated with tinsel and a small Christmas tree in the corner. The hostess looked uncertain when they walked in, clearly uncomfortable with Anna's appearance, but Michael's expression showed he wouldn't accept any argument. They slid into a booth, Sophie between Michael and Anna. Michael ordered hot chocolate for Sophie, coffee for himself and Anna, and told Anna to order whatever she wanted. Anything? Anna's voice cracked. Anything, as much as you want. Anna ordered soup, a sandwich, eggs, toast, a side of bacon. When the food came, she ate slowly at first, trying to keep her dignity, but hunger won out. She ate everything quickly, tears streaming silently down her face the entire time. Sophie watched with serious eyes, then pushed her own hot chocolate toward Anna. You can have mine if you're thirsty. Anna stared at the small child, and more tears fell. Thank you, sweetie, but that's yours, you drink it. Are you homeless? Sophie asked with a child's directness. Sophie? Michael started, but Anna held up a hand. It's okay. She deserves the truth. Anna looked at Sophie. Yes, honey, I'm homeless. I lost my home. Why? Anna took a shaky breath. I made mistakes and I had some bad luck and I lost everything. Michael had been watching Anna throughout the meal. The way she held her notebook like a lifeline, the educated way she spoke, the remnants of grace in her movements despite the desperation. What's in the notebook? He asked gently. Anna's hand went protective over it. For a moment, Michael thought she wouldn't answer. Then she opened it carefully as if it were made of glass. Inside were pages and pages of writing. Beautiful, flowing handwriting stories, Michael realized. Stories and poems and what looked like the beginning of a novel. I was a writer, Anna said quietly. I'm a writer, I guess, even if no one will ever read my work. I was finishing my MFA at Columbia. I had a teaching assistantship, a small apartment, a future. Her voice broke. Then my mother got sick. Cancer. I used all my savings helping with her medical bills. Dropped out of school to take care of her. She died 6 months ago. I'm so sorry, Michael said, meaning it. After she passed, I couldn't catch up. Lost my apartment when I couldn't pay rent. Lost my job because I had no address, nowhere to shower or sleep. Everything fell apart so fast. Anna looked at her notebook. This is all I have left. The only thing I managed to keep. My words, my stories. They've kept me sane these past few months. Where do you sleep? Michael asked. Shelters when there's room. Park benches when there isn't. Under bridges, doorways. Anna said it matter-of-factly. But Michael saw the shame in her eyes. I'm one of the invisible people now, the ones everyone walks past and pretends not to see. I see you, Sophie said suddenly. You're not invisible. Anna's face crumbled again. She reached out and gently touched Sophie's hand. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Michael's mind was racing. He thought about his empty penthouse, about all the resources he had, about Rachel, who would have brought this woman home without hesitation. Rachel, who'd always believed in helping people, in using their good fortune to lift others up. Anna, he said slowly, I want to make you an offer, and I need you to hear me out before you say no. Anna looked at him wearily. What kind of offer? I have a guest suite in my apartment, 2 bedrooms, private bathroom, small kitchenette. It's been empty since my wife passed away. Michael took a breath. You can stay there as long as you need. No strings attached, no expectations. Just a safe, warm place to live while you get back on your feet. Anna stared at him. No, I can't. You don't know me. I could be anyone. I could be dangerous, or you're not dangerous. You're a person who got dealt a bad hand and needs help. Michael leaned forward. Anna, I've been blessed with more money than I'll ever need. My wife always said we should use it to help people, to really help them, not just throw money at problems. Let me help you, please. Why? Anna's voice was barely audible. Why would you do this for a stranger? Michael glanced at Sophie, who was watching both of them with serious eyes. Because 2 years ago, I lost my wife, the love of my life. Sophie lost her mother, and for a while I was so lost in grief. I didn't think I'd survive. But people helped us. Friends brought meals. Neighbors watched Sophie when I couldn't function. My sister moved in for 3 months just to make sure we were okay. His voice grew thick. I learned that woman searched for food and found home instead. Sometimes helping someone isn't about owing or deserving. It's just about being human, seeing someone who needs help and offering it. Anna was crying openly now. I don't know what to say. This doesn't happen in real life. People don't just save you. Maybe they should more often, Michael said. Is that a yes? Anna looked at her notebook, at Sophie's kind face, at Michael's honest eyes. Yes, she whispered. God help me. Yes, thank you. The guest suite was more beautiful than anywhere Anna had lived, even before she became homeless. She stood in the doorway, dirty and exhausted, and started to cry again. I'm going to ruin everything, she said. I'm filthy. I'll destroy your beautiful home. You won't ruin anything, Michael said firmly. There are fresh towels in the bathroom. I'll leave some of Rachel's clothes outside the door. They should fit. Take a hot shower, sleep in an actual bed, and tomorrow we'll figure out next steps. Rachel, my wife. She was about your size, Michael's voice caught. She would want you to have them. She was always bringing home people who needed help. Drove mending becomes a beginning. A stranger becomes family. And love finds you in the last place you expected to look. In a dumpster on Christmas Eve, where a hungry crazy sometimes. But it was one of the things I loved most about her. Anna touched his arm gently. She sounds wonderful. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for yours too. That night, as Anna stood under hot water for the first time in months, washing away layers of street grime and desperation, she sobbed with relief and disbelief. When she came out, she found clothes neatly folded outside the door. Nice clothes, clean and soft, and smelling of lavender. She put them on and caught sight of herself in the mirror. Under all the dirt and exhaustion, she could see glimpses of who she used to be, who she might be again. In the main living area, she found Michael sitting on the couch reading a book to Sophie, who was in her pajamas. Anna. Sophie spotted her first. You look pretty. Thank you, sweetheart. Anna felt tears threaten again. Thank you both for everything. I promise I'll find a job as soon as possible. I'll pay you back. I'll tomorrow. Michael interrupted gently. Tonight, just rest. It's Christmas Eve. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Can Anna read us a Christmas story? Sophie asked. She's a real writer. That would be so cool. Anna looked surprised. I'd love to, if that's okay with your dad. More than okay. So Anna sat with them. This stranger who'd been digging through trash just hours earlier and read The Night Before Christmas in her beautiful, educated voice. Sophie fell asleep before she finished, curled up between them. She likes you, Michael said softly, brushing hair back from his daughter's face. She's wonderful. You're both wonderful. Anna looked at the sleeping child. I can't believe this is real, that this is happening. Believe it. Tomorrow we'll get you some clothes, a phone, help you find a job if you want. My company is always hiring, and I know people at several publishing houses if you want to pursue your writing. But tonight, just know you're safe. You're home. Home. Anna repeated the word foreign and beautiful. I forgot what that felt like. Over the next weeks, Anna transformed. Michael helped her get identification documents she'd lost, got her a phone, bought her appropriate clothes for job interviews. He introduced her to his editor friend, who read her work, and immediately offered her a contract for 3 articles. But more than the practical help, Michael and Sophie gave Anna something she'd lost, a sense of belonging. They included her in family dinners. Sophie insisted Anna read her bedtime stories. They watched movies together on weekends. You're becoming part of our family, Sophie announced one morning at breakfast as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Right, Daddy. Michael met Anna's eyes across the table. Right. 3 months later, Anna had a job as a junior editor at a literary magazine. She'd sold several articles. She was working on her novel. She'd moved from the guest suite to a small apartment nearby, but she still came to dinner 3 times a week. Still read to Sophie. still was woven into the fabric of their lives. Months later, on a summer evening, Michael and Anna sat on his balcony while Sophie slept inside. The city spread out below them, lights twinkling in the darkness. "I need to tell you something," Anna said quietly. Michael looked at her. This woman who'd come into their lives on a snowy Christmas Eve, who'd transformed from a desperate stranger to someone essential to their happiness. "What is it?" "I'm falling in love with you and Sophie." Anna kept her eyes on the city. "I know that's probably inappropriate. You're my benefactor and I owe you everything, and there's this power dynamic." "And Anna," Michael turned her face gently toward him, "I'm falling in love with you too. Have been for months. I didn't say anything because I didn't want you to feel obligated or pressured. But if you're saying what I think you're saying, I'm saying I love you," Anna said, tears in her eyes. "I love Sophie. I love the life we've built together. I love who I am when I'm with you both." Michael kissed her then, soft and sure. "I love you too. Sophie loves you. We want you in our lives. Not as a charity case or someone we helped. As family, as the person we can't imagine living without." A year later, on Christmas Eve, Michael and Anna stood at the same dumpster where they'd first met. Sophie held both their hands, now 7 years old and full of excitement. They'd come here deliberately to remember, to acknowledge the miracle of that night. "This is where everything changed," Anna said softly. "Where I thought I'd lost everything, and instead found everything that mattered. This is where I found you," Michael said. "Where Sophie and I found the missing piece of our family." "Are we going to do it?" Sophie asked excitedly. Anna pulled out an envelope. Inside was a check for $100,000 made out to the city's homeless services. It was the advance from her book deal, the memoir she'd written about losing everything and finding hope. "We're doing it," Anna confirmed. She'd be donating the money to create a program for homeless individuals who wanted to pursue education and artistic careers, the Anna Taylor Fellowship, named after the woman she'd been and the woman she'd become. They dropped the check in the mailbox on the corner, then walked home through gently falling snow, the same route they'd taken that first night. "Thank you," Anna said to Michael as they walked, "for seeing me when I was invisible, for helping me when you had no reason to, for giving me back my life." "Thank you for letting us love you," Michael replied, "for becoming Sophie's mother in all the ways that matter, for teaching us both that family isn't just blood. It's choice. It's showing up. It's love." Sophie swung between them, holding both their hands. "Merry Christmas, Mommy. Merry Christmas, Daddy." Anna still teared up every time Sophie called her Mommy. They'd married 6 months ago, a small ceremony with close friends and Sophie as the flower girl. But every time Sophie said that word, it felt like a gift, a reminder of how far she'd come from that desperate woman digging through trash. That night, after Sophie was asleep, Michael and Anna sat by their Christmas tree. Anna wore the same cream-colored dress she'd been wearing that first night, but she'd had it professionally cleaned and mended. She wore it every Christmas Eve now as a reminder. "What are you thinking about?" Michael asked. "About how close I came to giving up. That night you found me, I was writing goodbye letters in my notebook to my mother, to the life I'd lost, to the person I'd been. I was planning to walk into the river the next day." Anna's voice broke. "Then Sophie asked if I was hungry and you offered me dinner, and suddenly I had a reason to survive one more day, then another, then another." Michael pulled her close. "I'm so glad you're here. I can't imagine life without you. Neither can I." Anna looked at the tree, at the stockings hung for all 3 of them, at the life they'd built together. "You know what I said that night? When you found me, you said you were sorry, that you used to be someone. I was wrong." Anna turned to face him. "I was always a someone. I just couldn't see it anymore. You helped me see it again. You and Sophie, you showed me that worth isn't about what you have or what you've lost. It's about who you are, how you treat people, what you do when someone needs help." "You would have done the same for someone else," Michael said with certainty. I will do the same. That's what the fellowship is for. To help other people like I was helped, Anna smiled. To pass on the gift you gave me. They sat together in the soft glow of the Christmas tree lights. Two people who'd found each other in the most unlikely way. A wealthy widower and a homeless writer brought together by compassion and Christmas Eve. And a little girl's simple question, "Are you hungry?" Sometimes salvation comes from unexpected places. Sometimes the person digging through trash on Christmas Eve is exactly who you need to meet. Sometimes helping someone else is how you help yourself. Michael had given Anna a home, but she'd given him something too. Purpose, love, a reason to believe in goodness again. She'd given Sophie a mother. She'd given them both hope. And that, Anna thought as she drifted off to sleep in Michael's arms, was the real Christmas miracle. Not the money or the apartment or the job, important as those things were. The miracle was connection, love, the way humans could save each other simply by seeing each other, by refusing to look away, by offering help without counting the cost. She'd been invisible, digging through garbage, certain her story had ended. But it had only just begun, because sometimes the worst moment of your life is just the beginning of the best chapter. Sometimes losing everything means you have room to gain what actually matters. Sometimes the person you think you're helping is actually the one saving you.